What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Omar. Man, it's draft week. I'm sure everybody's excited about draft week. I got my guys with me. I got Scotty in the house. I got Jerry in the house. We are about, and Arthur, my bad, and Arthur's in the house. We are about to get this thing going. I know you guys probably have seen many mock drafts, but you know what? We do more than just mock draft in this here Raider station. So all righty, let's bring them in. Scotty, what's going on?
It does.
Jerry's up in the house, and my boy Arthur.
B-Lot in the house.
Week.
Man. I know I'm excited. It's draft week. I mean, I'm more excited than I have been in a long time about this draft.
Yes.
You know, I mean, this draft, like I said, I think the last time, and I wasn't as excited as I am this draft, but I just remember the last time I was excited is when we hired Reggie McKenzie, and it was his first draft. And I'm like, ooh, we're going to do something different than height, weight, speed.
Yes. Yeah.
How about you guys?
Draft NFL players.
Yeah. I think the last time I was excited was when we had them 5 first-round draft picks with Gruden. We got Jacobs, and that's turned out to be kind of a mess. I went back and looked at, I think that was 19, and I don't think any of those players are with us anymore.
Yeah, no, I think the excitement too comes from how we ended the season with the momentum with AP, how Raider Nation came together even more than usual, more than because it's been decisive, but I felt like everyone just really came together at the end. So all that momentum coming into today and coming up Thursday, man, let's rock it out.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah. And then speaking on last season, just kind of the state of Raider Nation. I mean, we went into a season last year. I had some high hopes. I got over the fact that we hired a coach that I didn't want, so I had to get over that. I'm like, okay, finally, I'm not a fan, but you know what? Of the coach, but I'm a Raider fan, so therefore, I'm gonna stand behind my team. And then, it wasn't going.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah.
It wasn't going well. I go back to seeing Aiden O'Connell get put in that game in LA against the Chargers. And I'm thinking, okay, well, why do we even bring in a backup quarterback if Aiden O'Connell should have been the number 2 guy? I just remember kind of thinking it just made me think, is something not clicking with this coaching staff? I just remember scratching my head, and it seems like that feeling just carried on until Josh was gone. And then you just saw when Josh was gone, I mean, it almost felt like do you know how we always be clowning when other teams fans just start coming out of the woodwork when they're all deep into the playoffs, and at the Super Bowl you see fans and flags out of nowhere that you haven't seen all season long. But that's how it felt when Josh got fired and AP came on. And it just felt like, and it wasn't that the fans are gone, they were just energized. They were just like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like they just got pumped. I mean, literally, that's the only thing I can kind of equate it to. They were there, but they were kind of half there. You know what I mean? And I felt that way too. I was kind of scratching my head like, oh man,
Me and you, Omar, were at that last game against Denver, and my son said, I haven't seen Raider fans this happy in a long time. And that was a game we didn't have nothing to play for. We was just pride at that point.
Yeah,
but they were playing for AP. They were playing for each other. And that's just a whole new vibe than what we had, than what we had leading up to that,
Definitely. Now, I mean, we know inside the stadium got energized, but how about outside the stadium? Did outside the stadium also did we see an uptick even in the flavor of the tailgates and things like that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That last
We always
tailgate
have a blast.
was live. That last tailgate was a party, man. It was a vibe, you know.
Man, that's what I was gonna say. I just think it carried out through the nation, man. It really, really did. You know, I got a clip that Jerry had. He posted it on. You can check it out on this website. I'm going to play some of this now. Jerry, tell us a little bit about this video that we're about to see, and because this definitely was a vibe. It was a great vibe. I love the video.
Absolutely appreciate that. The vibe was Raider Nation, man. It's like, you know, you never want to compare the past, you never want to compare Oakland, but it was like its own Raider Nation culture, family vibe. And I mean, you'll see in a second, shoulder to shoulder Raider fans up and down the aisles, and just everybody vibing, DJs, food, hugs, you know, dabs. I mean, it was just it was euphoric, and I find myself now going into the stadium where I used to go in early. Now I'm going in later because the vibe is just that great.
You know about that?
It was the Mr. First Quarter vibe. Oh.
Not that
I
late.
remember having to let
We
someone
know
else.
about that.
Oh my God, that was our life. I remember having to literally have someone else take my tailgate down because this one time I wanted to take my youngest son in so that we could see the opening ceremony because I'm like, there's an opening ceremony? I thought it was just more shots and food, but that's what I'm talking about, man. That is what we need. Let's get into this video right here because I really just want to share this with everyone. I just, like I said, saw it, love it.
Hey guys, look at where we are.
Back
Let's
home.
go Raiders!
Let's go Jets, Raiders, primetime. Let's.
Man, I love this video. You guys, if you want to see more, man, go check it out. They're always posting some good stuff. Hanging out. I hung out with these guys in New Orleans. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys again. You guys create some incredible content. So there's a lot more there, guys. But that's the vibe, man. The rolls, the barbecue smoke. I mean.
And you know what, Omar? If you think back, we were at that opening night game against the Steelers, Sunday Night Football. The vibe should have been there. We walked around the tailgates, and I remember commenting that seeing all the Steeler tailgates and saying that this would have never happened in Oakland. And like I said, you know, opening night, everyone was just kind of down. And then I see that video, and it's like, okay, that's the way Raider tailgate should be. And I mean, I remember that day, like I said, against the Steelers, we were just like, why is there all these Steeler tailgates? And the Raider tailgates weren't like they were. And so, yeah, I mean, you can see the vibe change just for sure in beginning of the season until, you know, McDaniels gets fired. And now that, you know, that's against the Jets. So.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely great times. Vibe, culture, Raider Nation. Like I said, it's proof in the video. It was live.
Yeah, dude.
I believe the hiring of AP has put us on a track back towards where we know as Raider fans where we know where we should be. I believe it's taken us back towards that way.
Yes.
I mean, how much do you think that, okay, we got AP. Not only do we have AP, and maybe I'm the only one that is kind of excited about this, but not only do we have a GM in Telesco, we got a GM that has a lot of experience. I'm excited about that. I mean, at first, like I said, it was another one of those that when it hit, I was just kind of like, I didn't have a bad feeling, but it just took me a minute to really digest it. I even went back and looked at his first round picks. I wanted to see, okay, how many busts has he had? And, you know, this guy has hit on a lot of first round picks. You know what I mean? So I'm excited even about that. You know what I mean? Of course, we heard some rumors, but does Telesco make you guys more excited?
I do. It does for me. You know, what is it, 10 years now? Am I mistaken on that? I think he's got like 10 something years
11. I think
doing
it's
this.
11.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. And I mean, experience is there's something to be said for that. So, do you get better? You got to, I would think.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's a major piece of this.
Definitely.
I totally agree. It's just having somebody that has a football mind and understands it. Like you said, we're not drafting for speed and size and all that. So we're drafting football players now. We have a guy that can come in and can evaluate talent and says, I want this guy because of all these factors and not just because he's the fastest guy at the combine. So yeah, it's nice having someone that understands football.
Sure.
Definitely.
No, I get it. I kind of want to go back to a little bit what Scotty was saying previously too, as far as AP and everything that goes with AP. It's like the vibe is also great because he's meant to be a Raider. He is a Raider. He doesn't look like every head coach in the NFL. He's not an NFL head coach, what the NFL wants a head coach to be, and I absolutely love it. I know Raider Nation loves it. And that's part of the excitement. It's like, we are the Raiders. There's nobody else like us, and we're going to do it our way. And that's also, too, where it's like this flame, man, is burning, and it's about to blow up.
Yep.
To piggyback on what you said there, Jerry, it also seems like we're going in the direction of players that want to be here, not just need a paycheck, want to be Raiders. And that's what it seems like. There's a few players that it's like, no, this guy's got the Raider mentality. This guy's, wanted to be a Raider all his life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we're pulling those people in. And I think that's a major part of this. We are different. We're not your regular football team.
Yeah.
We have there's a thing about, Raiders and Raider Nation. So, yeah, definitely what you said. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kudos to AP for bringing in top-notch guys. Bringing in top-notch guys to support him, whether his mentors. If you look at the staff, all of his coaches, I mean, those are some top-notch guys that are he's just doing the right things, bringing the right people in.
And we talked about players wanting to play for us, Scotty. Like we talked about it in previous shows where just the practices changed. The intensity of practice changed when AP came on versus when we had McDummy. So, I mean, these players are seeing it. They're juiced up. They want to be there. They're practicing hard. I mean, you don't hear that in NFL teams. And you know what I mean? They all kind of go through the motions and do everything. Now they're saying the practices are juiced up. Everyone's, hitting. Everybody's there. They're ready to rock. So, I mean, if you're showing up to practice hard, you're definitely going to show up to, a game day and play hard. And that's what they all want to do. They all want to play hard for AP.
Yeah, and I think Max Crosby's a big force driving that because he's talking the talk and he's walking the walk.
Yeah.
And, he's like, they're stepping on each other. Who can get here first?
Yeah.
And I'm here all day. What's happening? Let's do it.
Intensity. Matches intensity. Hey, real quick, let's say what's up to the folks in the chat. What's up, Jack McKenna, Anna Pacheco, Matt Marinovich, what's going on? Robert BJ, my dog, what's happening, man? We got Walt in the house. Man, good to see everybody. Good to see everybody, man. Ron Lonry. I'm sorry. Loney, what's going on, Ron? Oh, he's already got his picks. We're ready. All right. So definitely, we're ready to get into some picks. And I think I want to start it off here because I got your mock drafts, and I think I got to pick up Arthur. I got to start with you. And there's a reason why I'm going to start with you because I think you have one of the most different mock drafts of all of us. Let's get into Arthur's mock draft. Let's take it on. Look at this. Now, what's the first thing you guys see that is not on Arthur's mock draft?
Quarterback.
Yep.
No quarterback.
Yep.
I mean, I love the I love the Tyrion pick. I mean, I like all these picks to be, looking at what we need and what you got. But I do, tell us why you don't have a quarterback on your mock.
So I'll tell you this, and I kind of sent it to you. Obviously, these are drafting by the numbers. My thing is, if we're not trading up to go get Jaden, I mean, AP said it. He wants a franchise quarterback. He doesn't want a Band-Aid. He doesn't want a project. And that's the way I looked at it is if we can't go up and go get our guy, go get Jaden, I don't want to reach at 13 and take Penix. I don't want to have anything to do with Bo Nix. I'll tell you that right now. So, I mean, taking a Spencer Rattler, one of those guys late for me, it's not worth it. I say we at that point, if we can't get our guy, then we roll with Gardner Minshew this year, and we go into next year and and try to find our franchise quarterback. I think we can win some games with Gardner. So at this point, if we're not going to get our guy, I want my franchise quarterback. I don't want a Spencer Rattler that's going to come in and he's going to be a project and maybe he's going to work out, maybe he's not. So I didn't want to reach for a quarterback. I think there's a lot of good talent in this draft that we can get. Like I said, I like Terrion Arnold. It was close between Terrion and maybe one of the big offensive linemen, but I think we can get an offensive lineman like I did in the second round a little bit later. There's still value there. I think right now we have a top 5 defensive line, and putting a guy like Terrion, one of those good corners, I kind of went back and forth between him and Kenyon Mitchell. We sure up that backside of the defense, and I mean, we're going to roll. I mean, for me, I kind of go back to defense wins championships. And like I said, if we're going to bring in a project quarterback, we're just kind of doing the same thing like we did with O'Connell, Rattler. I mean, all those guys to me, they're just projects. So I don't want to reach.
I got to play devil's advocate on this. I got to.
Yeah, no.
Because Arthur said something real interesting there.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to roll with Gardner Minshew, as opposed to rolling with the guy that went 3-1 against the AFC West, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions in his last 4 games, 9 touchdowns, 1 pick in his last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that O'Connell is second fiddle to Gardner Minshew? I'm asking.
Absolutely. I've talked about it in other shows. For me, I like Aiden, but this is the NFL. The guy is a statue in the friggin' pocket. He can't move. It's running to me and just kind of moving around. It's instinctual, and I just don't know if he has those instincts to move the pocket a little bit. With Gardner, you get a little bit more mobility. You're going to get someone that can kind of move the pocket, that can create when he needs to create. The guy, like I said, is our franchise quarterback going forward? Absolutely not. But can he win us some games this year? Absolutely. And like I said, with this defense that we already have, and if we add to it, like I said, he can put us right there. And then, like I said, going forward, we find our franchise quarterback later. With Aiden, I think he's going to be a really good backup in this league, and he's going to win some games for you. But I don't know if he's going to be the guy that you want week in, week out.
Oh,
yeah.
But I think one of my biggest things that I was looking at in your draft too, though. I mean, we know teams have struck gold in later rounds.
Sure.
They didn't know they struck gold, but they still draft for depth. And I'm thinking, because we only have Gardner Minshew, and I think he goes by Guard Dog, and I like that name. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to jump on the Guard Dog. You know what I mean? But we got AOC and Guard Dog, but I don't think that's enough. I think I agree with you that if we don't get our guy, if we can't trade up to get our guy, I'm not picking someone. I'm not gonna pick someone in the first round, or maybe not even the second round. I don't know. It just depends on who falls. But I still think we need to get another quarterback for
100%. I just don't know if we need to draft one. There's going to be plenty of quarterbacks that we can sign, and you know what I mean, that have some veteran leadership that we can sign cheaply. I just don't know. Like I said, I don't want a draft project. I don't want to take another pick and bring in another draft project and cross our fingers that this guy becomes a late round great like other teams have done. Like I said, there's so many other needs that we can do, and I mean there's so much other depth, and I didn't like I said, I'm not big on Rattler. The kid out of Tennessee, you know what I mean? I could go either way with him. Like I said, I don't want to have anything to do with Bo Nix. So, I mean, once you get past maybe Penix Jr., and even then, I don't want to take him 13th. And then to get him in the second round, I think we're going to have to trade up. And,
these are all the notables after, depending on who you have as 5th and 6th, whether it's Penix or Bo Nix. This is that later, or some people have JJ down. Anyway, everybody's got their draft boards, and I've seen them all over the place. Drake May and Jaden Daniels trading 2 and 3. So I don't know, but this is kind of that other mix. You know what I mean? To me, here's your 3rd through 7th round picks right here that you could get. And like I say, when I saw your mock draft, and I got so excited, I'm like, I really want to talk about this, because I think we all got
Oh, I
quarterback
figured.
somewhere.
Oh, yeah. No, I figured everybody did. Yeah, no, absolutely. When I was putting it together, I was like, "Here we go!" Like it's gonna come up. But that was my thing. Like I said, I had my first round, what I wanted, what I'm willing to give up for Jaden pick. You know what I mean? For me, it was the 13th and 44 and 24, first and 5th and 25, and then a first round of 26 to go get Jaden to the Patriots because I don't think the Commanders are taking him. And you trade that to the Patriots, and I'm good with that. 3 firsts, a second this year, and a 5th next year. Absolutely, I would do that in a minute. But after that, if that's not going to happen, then like I said, I don't want to reach at 13 and take Penix. There's no way. I think that's too high. I've seen him going into mock drafts to us at 13, and I think that's way too high. Depending on what you have to do to either move into the backside of the first round to take him or move up in the second round, once again, there's some good offensive linemen on the board in the second round, and I have one of them in my mock draft. So, what do we want? Do we want a guy that's going to sit on the bench and that we're going to develop and hope that turns into something, or do we want to build that offensive line and start winning now? I went that route.
I agree with Arthur there, and I really love the pick at 13. I agree with don't reach if we can't get our guy. I love the Terry and Arnold pick at 13. I gotta agree with what you're saying there, Arthur. Absolutely,
and I think this supports that too.
Right.
I think this supports if you're not going to get your guy. I mean, this.
There you go.
We talked about this a little bit backstage, and I want this to kind of segue to that because we're talking about the worst draft pick in Raiders history. But here's the 2021 draft. 5 quarterbacks go in the first round, and to date, only 1 is starting in the NFL right now.
Right.
And who had comparable stats to Trevor Lawrence and probably even a little bit better stats? Is Gardner Minshew.
Gardner. Yeah.
I'm feeling better and better about Gardner rolling into this year.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys see the rush with Max Crosby?
Yeah.
Dude, the dude's a Raider.
Right, yeah.
I'm okay. Let's rock with him. But let me be clear. I want Jaden Daniels. But Gardner, I think he'll be okay this year.
Right.
Well,
Minshew.
That's, like I say, food for thought. I know for me, and I juggle between the worst draft pick ever, but both balls I'm juggling are both quarterbacks. That's how important that position is. I got Todd Marinovich as my worst, and I got Jamarcus Russell as my worst. And
Consensus, right?
We can argue each way, and I think that definitely lets you know how critical that pick is going to be for us, whether we go up, whether we stay put, and then what we do if we stay put, because I think most of us feel that, hey, if we don't go up to get Jaden Daniels, please go a different direction at 13.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, I think if we all took a vote, we're pretty unanimous on that if you don't go up and get Jaden Daniels, and I think, okay, and I'm going to get into our mock draft, some more of our mocks, but tackle or cornerback? We know Arthur he's got cornerback.
At 13, is that what you're referring to?
Right. At 13.
I'll tell you what. This is how I see this, and I think I see this how Arthur was seeing it. I say we go cornerback. There's some great cornerbacks out there, and we already have a really solid defense.
Yep.
And why not fortify that if we can't get the quarterback that we want? Why not fortify it and go after and solidify the defense, and then in later rounds we can hit that right tackle, right guard position.
I look at your mock draft and you basically say in your mock draft, give me a quarterback and then just make my defense a monster.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
You go defensive tackle, you go edge, you go linebacker, you come back to quarterback, and then finally you say, all right, let's maybe try to help a little bit. We can get somebody that's going to compete for this right tackle spot with our last pick.
And I'll tell you, if what my feelings are, I think we should, like my thing says there, I think we should go get Jaden Daniels. I feel like we should. However, this is what I think we are going to do. I think Mark Davis is good looking for a splash. I'm waiting to hear it. The Las Vegas Raiders select Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels at number 3, and I think that's where we're gonna trade up with the Patriots. I think I hear a lot of, that's too much draft capital. That's too much draft capital. That's too much, because we've done so well with draft capital before. Go get the guy and just see what happens. I mean, it is what it is. Other
King's
than
ransom,
that,
let's pay it.
my backup would look something very similar to Arthur's. I'm not convinced with any of the other quarterbacks so much that we should get them, but I think we are going to bet the farm. I've renamed him Mark Splash Davis because he wants to make a splash with everything he does. He's shown us what he wants to do. He's shown us that he wants to make splash, and I think that's what we're going to do.
So how much is too much? I mean, I pulled this. Hey, you guys know I surf the internet. I love the internet. All the crazy stuff I see on there, man. I love everybody's opinion. I don't care how crazy they are. Some have me cracking up. Some make me scratch my head. And some are just like, what the fuck? But hey, bring it. But how about this? I mean, this is saying that we would give up 2 1s, a 2, and a 3.
Send it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm with you guys. I
would give up 3 1s. I was ready to give up 24, 25, and 26 first round. So, yeah, I mean, if we only had to give up 2 1s, yeah.
I think it's going to take 3.
I think so. I think it's going to take 3.
3 1s and a 2. Is that too much?
This is fair as hell right here.
I would do that.
This is pretty much, what we would look to want to give up. But would 3 1s and a 2 be too much? And a 2 this year, not just a future 2. It'll be our 1 this year, our 2 this year, and then 2 more 1s, 25 and 26.
I take that too.
Like I said, that's what I have. I have in my notes right here. I have, like I said, first the 13 and 44 this year, a 1st and a 5th next year, and then a 1 in 26 was my trade to
got an extra 5th in there, an extra 5th round pick.
I mean, it's going to take a lot to move from 13 to 3. It's going to take a lot. I mean, you look back to what the Niners did when they moved up to get Trey Lance. You know what I mean? Right. They had to give up 3 1s, and they gave up. So it's going to be costly, but it's what we got to do, and I think it's worth it.
And they gave up all of that, gave up Trey Lance. They're still a good football team, but that's because they struck gold in the later rounds. If they didn't strike gold in Purdy, you know what I mean? I think we would be laughing that they wasted those three first round picks for Trey Lance. But now it doesn't hurt that bad because they hedged their bets, which is, we'll get to some more mock drafts where I think a couple of us think hedging, and coming out of this draft with someone is our best bet. Because to me, I'm like, dude, you better continue to draft until we get a good quarterback. I mean, for real. So now. And I heard, Arthur, you say you didn't like Bo Nix. And of course, I'm looking on the internet. No. I'm internet educated, fellas, if you didn't know that. Hey. And I see this. And this is just, just to summarize this really quick, is who has done the best throwing with NFL pro routes. And Bo Nix has been a guy that not only Arthur says he didn't like, but I've seen a lot of Raider fans say, I don't like Bo Nix. And I'm like, why? This kid threw 45 touchdowns with, I think, 3 or 5 interceptions. And I'm like, that's great. So I don't understand the Bo Nix hate because I'm thinking, dude, like I say, I love the touchdown to interception ratio. For me, that's almost like Al Davis's height, weight, speed thing. Like, I see something like that, and I'm like, oh, draft him. So, educate me, because obviously I'm missing something here.
So for me, I'm a huge UCLA Bruins fan, so I watch a lot of Pac-12 football. For me with Bo Nix, it's just a lot of decision-making abilities. The fact that he struggled when he was in the SEC, I mean, I get it, he had an injury, but his numbers became better against, I would say, lesser talent when he came to the Pac-12 versus when he was in the SEC. Some of the throws, I mean, a lot of this is hyped up by, that Oregon offense is a little bit more exciting, but just some of the shorter and intermediate routes that he would throw, the accuracy wasn't always there. Like I said, the decision making isn't always there for me. Like I said, I've probably watched a lot of Bo Nix just because, like I said, I'm a Pac-12 guy. Same with Penix Jr. I've watched a lot of Penix Jr. I'm just not a believer in Bo Nix. I think that of the top 5 quarterbacks, if depending on where you put him, if you put Nix at 5 or Penix, but those 5 or 6 guys, I would say he's going to be the biggest bust out of all of them. I think he might be a decent backup at best, but I don't see him ever being a franchise quarterback. Just not a believer in everything that I've seen in him, watching him in the Pac-12 this last season.
Wow. All right. I have no argument in his defense. Like I said, all I did was look at, wow, touchdowns. You know what I mean? But that we know that's not the case. That all that doesn't transfer in the NFL. We've seen lots of people throw a lot of touchdowns, do a lot of great things in college, and then just stink it up in the NFL. So, I mean, what are you going to do? So, now there's been, talking about, like I say, since I talked a little bit about Bo Nix, on the internet, I'm going to just blame the internet all day long. Like, man, you're going to say, Omar, well, why do you, hey, food for thought. I've been seeing this, and I'm sure everybody's been hearing, Raiders, Penix at number 13. I'm not okay with this. I'll start off by saying I don't want to pick Penix at 13.
No way.
This is no knock on him. I don't want it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, not at 13.
I think that's smoke. I think that's smoke by the Raiders. I think that Telesco, AP not getting along, not wanting this. I think that's smoke by the Raiders too. I think that these are all smoke screens because we tipped our hat in wanting Jaden Daniels too much, and we're trying to make it seem like we're trying to not pay so much for him. But I think this is all smoke.
All right. Yeah. I hope you're right. I'm all on that. Please let it be smoke and mirrors.
At 13, but as soon as we look at our draft, you're going to see who's there.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a mock draft where Minnesota in the 20s pick him up, and I was like, okay, I believe that could happen. That, you know what I mean, somewhere in the 20s, because I think Minnesota has 2 first-round picks, a higher one at 9 or 10 or something like that, and then one somewhere in the 20s, and I was like, okay, but
and there was a story a couple of weeks ago that we tried to make a deal with Miami to get their first-round pick, the 21st pick or something, 21st or 22nd. And I was fine with, same thing. If that's what we were doing to kind of hedge our bets and maybe either use that second first-round pick to trade up, or we were going to use it to take a Penix at the 21st pick, I would be fine with that.
Right.
It's far too high.
I love this. Walt said Michael Lombardi says Al Davis would take Penix at 13. Well, this is why we're celebrating the fact that we got a GM.
Yes.
We can just think, he's got the strongest arm. I get it. I definitely get that is a very true statement. Sean agrees, though. Not at 13. Not at 13. So, yeah. I think, anyone else? Jerry, are you with the 13 or are you against picking at 13?
Muted.
You're on mute, Jerry.
So, definitely not at 13. Hell no.
Yeah. All right.
But the simulator draft I just did, the one that you sent us, I believe you'll see what's on there.
Definitely. We're going to get there. I got one other thing and I am not hating on AOC, you guys. Trust me. I always said, hey, if AOC is the floor for our quarterback play going into 2024, we'll be okay. So I've always rooted for the kid, but I kind of thought this was the mirrors too. I was like, y'all just talking shit now. That if AOC was in this year's draft, he would be a first round pick. I don't know about that.
No, that's smoke. Yeah.
If you're just trying to say you like the kid, hey, we do too, but come on.
Yeah, that's smoke.
I'm like, that was just, I'm like, well.
Yeah. No.
I mean, he did an okay job for a rookie.
Wait, but
he just doesn't have.
Also saying Walt says he thinks we're all wrong, passing on Penix at 13. Who would you take at 13 at QB? I don't think any of us would take any of the other quarterbacks at 13, Walt. I think we all are saying if you don't go up and get Jaden in the first round, I think we're all saying either get an offensive tackle or get a cornerback. I think that's what we're all saying. So no QB. If it ain't Jaden, we're Jaden or bust in the first round.
Yes,
Definitely.
Yep. So here's an interesting question, but you know what? I think I want to go into some more mock drafts, and let's get to Jerry's draft real quick here. Let's pull it up. Where's Jerry's draft? God dog it. I got too many drafts. I did go draft crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I did. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over here on mock drafts this season. But let's get into it because someone was just asking if it isn't a quarterback or if it's an offensive tackle, who would it be? So let's go right into Jerry's because Jerry has his offensive tackle. So that lets us know that out of a cornerback and an offensive tackle, Jerry's looking at offensive tackle first. And,
absolutely.
I do like this. I like this series of picks as well. This is kind of one of my theories of how I would like to have the draft go, but there's so many directions. But walk us through the first couple picks, Jared, because I see you like Fashanu, and I'm wondering, is he, outside of Joe Alt that probably doesn't come down to us, you like him over Fuaga?
Not necessarily. This was who was available in the simulated draft that I did, but I definitely like this pick. Go offensive tackle. Go just a brawler. Someone that can go out there and just move some people around. At 13, and this is if I didn't do any trades or anything trading up, so definitely take him there at 13. And then we just all agreed we wouldn't take a quarterback at 13, but would we take one at 44? And the simulator Penix was available, so. Yeah. They're thinking that he might drop. You never know in these drafts. Quarterbacks sometimes sit in the room, right? Yeah. And if he's there by some miracle, why not? Let's do it.
I believe one of the ones that I did too, I had him that had dropped at 44, and I picked him at 44 too. That might be okay at 44. Who knows? But I kind of agree with that too. Offensive tackle first. I'm fine with that. Yeah. And then if you get one of these guys that dropped at 44, I'm good with that too.
Yeah, no, absolutely, definitely.
And I love the Jonathan Brooks pick at 77. I mean, like I say, this could be, a draft like this where we get. And before I even say that, Jerry, do you like Fuaga? Would you have picked Fuaga over Fashanu if he was there?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. All right. I think we kind of all love Fuaga. I do too. I think I had a mock draft where I had something just like this, but with Fuaga there. And this could be transformative. A draft like this where you add that to your offense, a top notch, he would go right on that right side. Jonathan Brooks is a beast on the ground. If Penix just say quarterback competition, you know what I mean? If he wins, then you already know what that must have looked like. If he loses, then, and it's guard dog or AOC, the whole point is whoever is going to be the start, we will know that they battled it out and they won it. You know what I mean? So and in my mind, that means better quarterback play than last. And I love
absolutely
it. Right. I absolutely love it. I think, like I say, so far, any of our drafts, I think, like I say, my only thing is, Arthur, is I just think we should have grabbed a quarterback somewhere. Like I say, I want to add to that quarterback competition through this draft and bring a young gun in there, just to, like I say, even if they're only there just to push AOC, to make sure guard dog fights a little bit more, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So let's see what the chat is saying. Nix could drop. Raider Great said Nix could drop. I think the Broncos are the only team that love him, and they have no second rounder. I know what you said about Bo Nix, but 45 touchdowns, I'm drafting him. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm like, man, I'm drafting that kid. Hold on.
So are you drafting him at 44? Is that what you're saying?
You take a second round pick? Oh, if Bo Nix Michael Penix drops to the second round. I'm on that, man. I'm on that. I mean, I am. Fuaga is meant to be a Raider and wants to be. Yeah, he's mean and nasty, dude.
Right.
I think we all would love to have Fuaga. You know what I mean? Like I say, like I say, in your draft, Jerry, if we got Fuaga and then Penix and then Brooks, geez, dude. Like I say, that to me, definitely would be very exciting going into the draft. So, going into the season to have those guys on our squad. So, all right,
and
you know what?
Quick, let me just cap that off. The reason I went running back on the third round is, as we all know, the NFL knows, and especially us, we just proved it. We do not pay running backs.
Yep.
So to have someone like him on the roster, on a rookie roster, because White's going to tear it up. He's going to want to get paid, 2 years from now, whenever that may be. So having another running back on a rookie contract, let's go. You know what I mean?
100%. I took my running back in the fourth round. So, I mean, I'm right there with you, Jerry. I mean, I kind of same thing, went back and forth. Did I want to take a Brooks in the third, or is there better value that I could have got later? Once again, I watch a lot of Pac-12 football. I've seen Marshawn Lloyd at USC. I took him in the fourth round. He'll be there for sure. I love his hands. He can catch out of the backfield. His start-stop speed is unbelievable, and that guy's going to make people miss. You can't tackle Marshawn Lloyd one-on-one. So just knowing him and seeing everything that he's about. So I took my running back in the fourth round, but I agree. I mean, we need to add to that running back room also.
Definitely. All right, I'm going to go into and as you see, I labeled this my first mock draft. I'm just like, man, I had a lot of these, you guys. I got a lot of mock drafts. And I did some trading. I did trade down, but I was just like, you know what? I can't go up and get Jaden Daniels. So, all right, screw it then. I traded down, got Kenyon Mitchell. Then I got me an offensive tackle. Then I got Brooks. Then I was like, I'm going back defense. Sweat's available? Oh, come on, Forget about it. Our D-line's about to get sick real here. And then I did get Milton. I was like, you know what? He's the next strongest arm in this draft. He's got that, in my mind, he's either going to be Jamarcus Russell, or he's gonna be a Roethlisberger, because he's a big guy, 6'5". He ain't skinny. I'm like, he to me, he's gonna be either or. He's gonna be either one of those guys for this league, or maybe something in the middle. I don't know, but I was just like, I gotta have a quarterback on here. Got him late. Got me a big 6'6" tight end, just because I think, I would love some more 2 tight end sets with a guy who can catch. He can't do, he's not very fast, but he could just at least, he's a big guy. He can get in there and, get a few yards. So that's kind of how I did my first draft. And then, like I say, of course, I definitely went in a different direction with my second draft that looks just like, you'll see. It's pretty much almost like Jerry's, except I was doing a lot of trading down, which I was like, oh my goodness, but using this simulator, a lot of things can happen. I don't know if we'll do a lot of trading, but I hope we do. I definitely hope we do a lot of trades to get more picks this round, or this year, I rather say. But again, Michael Penix, I mean, I have seen so many mock drafts where Penix is falling to the second round.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just purely on injuries. I mean, that is for this kid, I mean, it's hurt him physically, and now it's hurting him in his draft stock because of what he had. I think he had multiple injuries, but it's the 2 ACLs that really just kind of, that's the one that just kind of, I mean, can he hit the weight room? Is this something that, hey, put on a little, he's the best pocket passer. So, and he's the pocket passer with what people consider the least amount of escapability, as seeing what he's done. But that kid, what did he run? A 4.4, 4.4, 4.48?
Yeah.
Let's just say, I mean, something really fast. 4.5, I don't know. But I was like, wow, just because he doesn't run, he definitely can. But in my mind, if you're that fast, putting on some muscle to help with the injuries, and even if it slows you down a little bit from running, we don't need you to, we don't need Michael Vick. You're pocket passer.
Right.
Yeah, we do.
That'd be great.
Shit. You know what? And I remember that conversation coming up, and I was like, well, they were comparing like Michael Vick with Peyton Manning. But I'm like, hey, who's got 2 Super Bowl championships? I love Michael Vick. He was great to watch, but at the end of the day, if we had Michael Vick and didn't win a championship, we would all be mad that we didn't win a championship. So, and we would, because we would be like, man, those games are great, but damn, So anyway, so like I said, that was and I do have a final draft, and I'm going to get right to it real quick here, because I had a final draft, and I really hope it works out something like this, because I was working some trades. I traded up, and then, as you can see, I kept trading down to get more picks, and this is really, 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 because that kid, Braylon Allen from Wisconsin, I would love that. Yeah. 6'1", 235 pounds, quick feet. You don't have a lot of wiggle and stuff, but man, I would love those guaranteed 4 or 5 yards. You know what I mean? Again, I got another big tight end. I love Mayer. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking, does it drop off after Mayer?
Yeah.
And what if they get hurt? I would like a little depth anyway. And then, of course, I got some defense on here. Cornerback TJ Tampa came back. He got another cornerback later. Got a linebacker and a safety. And I got edge. But I got all those picks because I kept dropping down. I went up to get Jaden, and then I tried to go down almost every time I was offered to go down to get more picks for this season. And I did end up making up for, a couple picks that I traded. So I would love for this to work out this way. Just getting more picks, get our guy, reinforce the defense, and then get a few more weapons. So I did get a wide receiver. So this was my final mock draft, and I was like, okay, man, I'm going to just paste this on the wall and like a lotto ticket and hope my numbers get called on this weekend.
Now, let me ask the question, because I think you guys are better at this than me. Can we not trade players and draft picks to move up or down, whatever you want to do?
Absolutely.
Is that not?
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
I would never do that, though.
I have this feeling, and this is just a guess, that Gardner Minshew is a little bit of smoke too.
Yeah,
I think he's a little bit of smoke too. He's why bring Gardner Minshew? I don't know. Why not set him up to get to where we want to be, so maybe it doesn't cost us as much draft capital as we once thought, as we're all thinking that it's going to cost us to get Jaden. Is he a pawn in this game that we're playing?
Does Washington or New England want him?
That's what I'm saying. New England
would be interesting. Yeah,
they could use that. They could use a Gardner Minshew,
especially if they get some draft capital from us. Yeah, no, that would be. You know what? That is interesting.
Yeah,
that is very interesting, because they've already talked about how they want to pick up more picks to build that roster, because they know they're not just a quarterback away. So
right.
Gardner Minshew is a nice bridge for them to help them win some games, and they get some draft capital out of it.
Absolutely.
Then that would be very interesting.
New England is not one player or two away from anything. They several pieces away. And Belichick is gone. And, why not try to pick up some draft capital and somebody who can throw the football? And Gardner Minshew can.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Somebody can throw the football. Yeah. Why not take that?
It's a good thought, but me as guard dog, we know what we're going to get.
Yeah,
sure.
You know what I mean? And I would just never gamble a known commodity versus a unknown commodity as a GM. That would just be, it would, I get it. He's never played for us, so it's like no harm, no foul, but I actually like having it.
It saves us a first-round pick, Omar, going forward. If we don't have to give up a first-round pick and we can save a little draft capital going forward, you're not on board with that?
Well, to me, that is just winning the lotto in itself in a scenario like that. A guy that's never played it down for me, and you're going to give me a first-round pick for it? Oh, yes, I would have to break my rule because, to me, that's just like an incredible opportunity that I don't think would happen. I don't think you would get more than a third round for Gardner Minshew. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just, That's how I see it. But I'll just say, okay, in that scenario, sure. You know what I mean? Yes, I would do it. But otherwise, I really don't like trading a known commodity for an unknown commodity because, you know, it's so hit or miss, you know, with draft picks. But
let me play off your analogy there, Omar. And I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Sure.
The known commodity was Los Angeles, but we went to Vegas.
Right.
Mark Davis wants a splash. He has shown us who he is.
Yeah.
He has told us that he is gambling, that he wants to make the headline, that he wants to, everything he does. He moved us to Vegas. He got Devontae. He thought Josh McDaniels was going to be the next coming of Belichick. He thought we're going to have a dynasty behind that. We paid John Gruden. He's shown us.
Yep.
He's shown us what he is.
And you know what? And I pulled up the wrong one, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to circle right back to Mark Davis. But do you think this helps us get Jaden Daniels, this whole little thing with Washington? Because from what I read, the Patriots are open to trading down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And his little visit, and they, you know, no, I think the fact that they brought in multiple players say there wasn't that interested in him versus, you know what I mean, someone else that they would have. Most people were taking the quarterback. I mean, look what Bears did with Caleb, private dinners and all that good stuff. There was no other quarterback prospects there. So,
no, I think that's smoke right there.
Okay.
I think what we might have, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it how it's got to be said. I'm not sure that Jaden Daniels has the right complexion to make this connection, but I think we might see something like Peyton Manning, where he's like, I don't want to go there. I want to go over here.
Yeah. You don't think Drake May is Washington's guy?
Knows, maybe.
Yeah.
I think so. I've said it for months. There's been
McCarthy.
Other rumors out there how Jaden doesn't like Adam Peters. He doesn't want to play for Adam Peters. The whole thing when he was at Arizona State and Adam Peters was the assistant GM for the Niners and Ayuk introduced him and Adam Peters told him that he was a 5th round draft pick at best and that his game won't transfer to the NFL. That Jaden isn't impressed with him and doesn't want to have anything to do with him. So, I mean, that's been out there for months. And now leading up, you have this where they're bringing in all these other guys. Like you said, they're not whining and dining him and saying, you're our guy. Everybody knows Caleb's going to the Bears because they whined and dined him. They brought him in solo, nobody else. They didn't do that with Jaden. And I think they're going to go Drake May. And that's what I'm saying. I think that with New England being open for business, and like Scotty said, that Gardner Minshew thing, that could be interesting. I mean, you trade him a Gardner and some draft picks, and they get a guy that they can use as a bridge quarterback, and they get a lot of draft picks out of it. That is really interesting to me. I mean, that's a great point.
But you guys got to remember, the Patriots brought in, was it Jacoby? Didn't they bring in Jacoby?
They did.
I mean, Jacoby and Gardner, I mean, 1A and 1B? Or am I giving Jacoby
I don't know if it's that close. I don't think
you don't think they're that close?
No.
Oh,
I don't think so.
I think Jacoby's a good he's a solid guy to have on your bench.
Yes.
Yeah.
He can come off the bench and win you some games or help get you through a game, but I think Gardner Minshew can be a starter in this league, and
sure,
Jacoby is, like you said, he's a good guy to have on your bench. He's a good guy to have in your quarterback room.
Absolutely.
And here's a good sign. You guys think this is true? That Davis is like, oh yeah, I mean, you're saying making a big splash. Davis all in. Go get him. Get your guy.
Oh yeah.
He said if it makes sense. I'm like,
let's hope so.
Okay, is making sense means not to give up too much? Or is it just go get your guy and he better be a good player no matter what the cost is?
Well, have we seen Mark Davis evolve a little bit? You know, as far as you guys make the decisions, I'm the owner. Have we seen him evolve just a touch? I think we have.
Yeah, and I think he did that when he picked Telesco over the other guy because he was saying, I want more experience. And I think that was him saying, I don't want to be involved. So I want to get somebody with some experience. So I don't have to be.
And you got to preface it by saying as long as it makes sense. So you're not actually going out there saying, we'll give you the world, whatever you want. Just make an offer. So it has, the whole as long as it makes sense thing is just making sure that it's kind of cover us on the back end. So we're not giving up, teams aren't saying, okay, well, we want your next 4 first and we want to, you know what I mean? Like, and they're not trying to take advantage of us. Yeah. That's what the whole make sense part is.
Sure.
Let's say what's up to some folks in some chat. We got, wait a minute, Cool Kev in here talking about my Raider thongs. Yup. Okay, I can't find them, but I've been saying I'm gonna find those doggone things, and every time he mentions it, I'm like, shit, I gotta go through some of these old bags, and I don't know where those things are, but I'm bringing them back. I'm bringing sexy back, bruh. Don't hate. Don't hate. Who else did we have pull up in the chats? I think we got, shoot, my eyes are bad. What is that? Santi Williams. Who else do we have in here?
Shout out to Mom.
Shoot. Let's see here. Anyway, guys, don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, smash the like button if you like what we're talking about. Hell, if you don't like what we're talking about and you disagree with us, smash the like button anyway, because you probably just need somebody to disagree with. So it's still entertaining you, damn it. But let's see here what we got. Caleb, hold on here. We got some. Caleb said the same thing about Chicago. All righty. Let's see here. What else we got? None of these quarterbacks this year impresses me as the next superstar. Wow. Okay. So
Defend that comment for me a little bit, Ron. I said, post in the comments why you think that, Ron. I'd love to hear your reasons for that.
Yeah, that's some, I would love to hear why too. Like I said, I mean, we got, let's just say, Jaden Daniels. Yep, I'm on my thing. 40-something touchdowns. We got Bo Nix, 45 touchdowns. Hell, we got Penix, I think at his best, he threw like 37 touchdowns and not a lot of picks. I mean, we have definitely done worse on first-round pick quarterbacks in regards to their quarterback. I mean, we picked Todd. I'm gonna go to my Todd Marinovich. This kid had 16 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, 12 touchdowns, and 9. I would have never picked him just on that. I don't care how well the team did. I would have been like, no. Jamarcus Russell, 15 touchdowns on 9 interceptions, 28 on 8 interceptions. Who else can I pick on? Hey, and I'm not picking on the kid. I still like Aiden O'Connell, but I mean, 28 touchdowns with 11 picks, 22 touchdowns with 13 picks. We picked him in the 4th round. That's why when I brought up that he's a first-round pick, I was like, I don't know, because we even had a guy that we never got to the promised land with us, but Derek Carr threw 50 touchdowns with 8 interceptions in his last season at Fresno State. So, I mean, I'm going to say there's some method to my madness. We know it doesn't directly translate into, hey, you're going to have a all-pro Super Bowl winning quarterback, but I think production, time in their position. We know Nix has a lot of experience. Michael Penix has a lot of experience coming out.
Well, yes.
Got guys that are sliding down that have a lot of experience, throws lots of touchdowns. It just makes me excited. Like I say, I don't hate any of these quarterbacks in this draft. I don't hate J.J. McCarthy. I don't talk about him a lot. He won a championship. I believe he was in a pro-style offense working under what's his name at Michigan. So, it gives me a lot to be excited about just seeing what happens. But just like we looked at that 2021 draft class where 5 quarterbacks went in the first round, we see how all of that can just not translate.
Right, exactly. We don't know.
Yeah. We've also seen where you had the other Manning, you had, what was the guy from San Diego, and you had Roethlisberger that draft where I think 3 first-rounders all 3 of them. Okay, what's the name?
Eli Rivers and
he didn't win a championship, but he was a damn good quarterback.
Yeah, Rivers, yeah.
So we do see where, hey, you know what? A lot of these guys could do it, but I think they say 60% of the quarterbacks drafted fail. So there's that as well. Yeah. All right, guys.
I think my final thought, I know we're wrapping up here, but my final thought is I think the Raiders have the mentality, it seems like GM, coach, and owner have the mentality of the time is now. That's why I think they're going to bet the farm on Jaden Daniels. And I think they're onto something.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got Max Crosby. He's come on, man. You went and got Christian Wilkins. You got Devontae Adams. I mean, come on. Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to wait for? What are we waiting for? Pull the trigger. I think that's the mentality, and I agree with it.
Yep. All right. Definitely. Final thoughts, guys. Final thoughts and predictions.
Hey, we're here, baby. Thursday. Can't wait. Still sucks that it's on a Thursday. We talked about that earlier, but let's just see what happens. I mean, at the end of the day, couch GMs, baby.
That's it. Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. Like I said, I'm ready to go all in, go get our guy, get our franchise quarterback, and let's go.
All right, man. I hope we do it. I hope we jump up, take Daniels. Ron says Daniels will be a bust. I don't think so.
Once again, defend that.
I also hope we trade down and get a lot of picks elsewhere too. So I hope the draft comes, that way. Or like I say, we get cornerback or tackle. I mean, like I say, I waffle back and forth in those. So any of those 2 or 3 scenarios to me is going to come out a win. I think it's going to get Raider Nation energized. It's going to give us a lot to talk about. We heard how some of the OTAs, we had some of the highest, and this wasn't even it wasn't even mandatory, and we had a lot of participation. So that lets you know these players are excited, and I think a great draft is just going to catapult all of that excitement and energy. Especially, I think if you get, people keep forgetting that AP effect. He get his guy. Just think about the fact that, hey, I want this, and he gets up there and gets what he wants. Bring this guy in. I mean, you got to think what that's going to do for this team and how they're going to just gather around one another and play hard. Even if he gets beat out and he sits a year or whatever, I just think, you know what? It's still just going to have this team juiced up. And I mean, I think we got a lot of excitement ahead of us. Anyway, guys, thank you. It's been a great show. I look forward to us doing this again and running it back. And hey, guys, I'll see you next time after the draft.
After the draft,
we go out one way and only one way.
Raiders.
Let's go.